Hey guys, welcome back to Fourth Wall Reactions. Today it's time for more Black Sails, and I am on episode 9 of season 4. I only have 2 more episodes left, which seems absolutely crazy. So this past week I've been thinking back on just the show in general, but also the experience of reacting to Black Sails and getting to know the fandom. And I was thinking about how amazing the Black Sails comments section has been. With Doctor Who, I'm constantly, even with 2 moderators, constantly still trying to dodge spoilers. My mods are great. They just have lives and they can't always get to every single video. And people are still finding videos and starting from the beginning. And so, it's just, there's only so much a moderator can do. So with Doctor Who, I'm constantly dodging spoilers. And Black Sails, I've always felt safe in the comment section. No one's ever dropped a bomb. Until this morning. And it is my fault partially for getting lulled into a false sense of security and being in the comments at all. One of my favorite things about the channel, regardless of whatever show I'm reacting to, is to talk with people about it. That's why I'm doing this. I could just binge watch stuff on my own. So it's difficult for me to stay away from the comments. And I don't have anyone who could serve as a moderator, that I know in real life. But I've also never felt the need for a moderator. Now, but yeah. I do feel like it was just a really unfortunate wording. I don't think it was like an intentional thing. I can't believe I got spoiled 2 episodes away. Now, I bring this all up not to just complain and whine about it, because, it's partially my fault. For being there in the first place. But I do not fake anything. I'm not here to fake reactions to stuff. Who has time for that, honestly? That always seems like a lot of work. Like, why would anybody go? I guess some people do, but why would anybody go to the trouble to do all this if they're not real, genuine reactions? So I now know the outcome for one of the characters that I didn't know before, and I'm not going to manufacture any sort of shock or surprise. So I guess it's just a heads up. If you see me, just that's because I have been spoiled. Some people I knew were gonna survive till the end just because of Treasure Island. Other characters I'm wondering about if this fictional atmosphere is going to follow the real life, or whether there's room for real life to take another path, which in some cases it seems like it might, but I don't know, and thank God I don't know. With that off of my chest, I am excited to see this. I kind of don't want to see it because I want to stretch this whole thing out now that I've racing through the final stretch. But I must see it. I have to know what happens. And what is happening is that Flint's own men are hunting Flint. It's painful. And everyone has aligned against him pretty much. And that I have no idea what's going to happen. So let's check it out.
I know how you feel about being seen without the leg, but when the fighting truly begins, all that matters is what makes for the greatest advantage.
But for pride to be an issue between you and I, well, I think we're playing past that by now. Don't you?
Oh, I missed this. I want this back. I'm talking about relationships lately. This is my favorite relationship on the show.
Not concerned about this?
Concerned?
Well, you say you'll be teaching me to fight. Seems to me what you'll really be teaching me is how to defeat you.
I'll take my chances. Shall I?
Why are you killing me? I want the bromance back. Look at you. Sir, you look rough.
Which one of them is going to prevail? If I were you, I would assume the worst. And act accordingly now, while you know you still can.
You are, for now, a necessary evil. Do not test my patience.
Billy's forgetting that Woodes Rogers still sees him as an evil pirate. You're as much on the list as Flint and Silver and all the rest of them are.
I have no idea who you were. Not before we found you, at any rate.
Yeah.
Want to know where I come from? Just ask.
I think I just did.
Yeah, I think so. Been wondering this the whole time.
It isn't important.
All right?
No, want to know.
Although, you know that isn't true either. You know my story.
He told you
Thomas, Miranda, all of it.
100%.
It has made me transparent to you. Not only that, but when I told you the story, you situated yourself such that were you and I ever to come to blows, I'd be forced to hesitate before doing you any harm.
I understand your concern. We'll resume tomorrow. Is that all right?
No, I want to know. I've wondered this the entire length of the show. They're just now getting to it.
You sailed with Avery. Long time ago. You do know where you're going, yes? No, seriously, I've got quite a lot riding on this. If you reach Skeleton Island, it might mean the end of the government.
One can hope.
You have no idea the restraint this takes. How certain the conviction that it would be deserved, given what you and your partners have destroyed. What you have taken from me.
You did it. You did it. He can't hear me.
But in this moment, I can still hear the faintest of voices in my head arguing against the alternative. So I come to you one last time to ensure you cannot say no. Accept the treaty.
I will consider no treaty of yours.
And John Silver lives. Refuse. And he dies.
But I hear the voices. A chorus of voices. They reach back centuries. Men and women and children forced to wear your chains. I must answer to them and this war. Their war. Flint's war. My war. It will not be bargained away to avoid a fight. To save John Silver's life. Or mine. It was neither I, nor Flint, nor the Spanish raider who killed your wife. That you did.
Sergeant. Take her below.
Oh my god. I hate him, and yet he is so good. He is so good. Performance-wise.
We've come all this way. Jess was never here. You left her behind.
Oh!
I think they'll figure it out that we dropped it down here. We need to get it in the ground. Come on.
Look at this guy. It's like the one Flint advocate left.
I'm having a hard time seeing how Mr. Silver can be a part of that now. He'll come round. Once she's safe, he'll be able to see things clearly again. If not, if he needs to go,
Oh.
you're too important to what comes next to have to bear a burden like that. So when the time comes, I'll do it.
Oh. Oh no.
I have no story to tell. I know it might seem as though I'm trying to conceal something from you, but the truth is, there is no story to tell without relevance. Some time ago, I absolved myself from the obligation of finding any. No need to account for all my life's events in the context of a story that somehow defines me. I've come to peace with the knowledge that there is no storyteller imposing an incoherence, no sense nor grace upon those events. You know of me all I can bear to be known. You know my genuine friendship and loyalty. Can that be enough and there still be trust between us?
Again.
No answer.
The result ahead of us promises to be a victory of a different sort. A true victory. Freedom. In every sense of the word. How fortunate are we to be standing on the threshold of it?
Yes.
Oh God, what? Oh! What? Drunk or
Daniel
dead?
said he saw him clutch for his chest.
Oh.
Then he just dropped.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So, you asked him to recount for you what he knew days ago? Yes.
Of course.
And you can get us to our destination without his assistance? Yes. Do not fuck with me.
Of course I can. Truly. I'm almost certain I can figure it out.
Almost certain. It's not funny he died. It's just Jack's face. Feather stir. That dude. You have a gun. Oh no. Really? From the beginning. Woo! Oh! Oh! No, no, no! Oh! Oh, oh! Oh my God. Oh, 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 both of them. Oh God. Oh no. Oh God.
Launches in the water!
It would be preferable to me if we resolve this another way. Cash is in the ground by now. And I'll need as many men as we can get for what comes next. That includes you.
Really? I mean, this guy's a beast. Oh, oh, oh.
That's enough!
Tell me where it is. I can't do that. Fuck you. Where is it? You're making a mistake.
Fuck you! Where is it?
In the ground. Where it stays until Marty is freed. I know you cannot see why this must be. And every moment we waste is a moment we could be working to retrieve her. And right now it matters far less to you whether she lives or dies and that it happens your way. I think you know it's far more complicated than that. I'm certain she does.
What?
She believes in this as much as I do. You know this. If it costs a war to save her,
It's true.
you'll have lost her anyway. Even you cannot construct a story to make her forgive you that.
Oh, oh, no, 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 no. He just killed his man for you. Larger picture. That.
Away from you!
No. You are the absolute worst. You're gonna shoot him anyway. Okay. You're next to absolute worst.
I have earned his respect. After all the tragedies that man has suffered,
Ah!
I have earned his trust. I
friendship. So he's going to have mine. And as long as that is true, I cannot imagine what is possible.
Oh my god. Alright guys, that was episode 9. It was an amazing episode. I was so tense and nervous throughout it. I've been tense for a lot of the remaining episodes of the show, but this one was, finally sort of pitting Flint versus Silver directly. The beginning of the episode, I thought, ooh, dream sequence. Not just because of the different coloring. The way those two swords were stuck in the sand and then the pan over to the crutch. I just had, at first I thought it was a flashback, and then just those things were so symbolic. Just the sight of the two swords and then a pan over to a crutch. I was just like, this is going to be some deep-ass dream. And it turned out to just be a deep-ass flashback. The relationship between Silver and Flint is, I think, my favorite of the show. And I love Silver and Maddie. But that trust, every time that Silver and Flint have had, a heart-to-heart, how I lose it. Cheapen it by calling it a bromance, but it's a deeply felt friendship. It's a relationship. It's my favorite of the show. It's heartbreaking to see them come to this, but the end of it gives me some hope. I mean, Flint did shoot his own man to save Silver. Silver should, I see both sides. I understand why Silver has been turned. I get it. I don't think that Silver is acting irrationally. He's terrified for Maddie. He is probably willing to risk his own life, but he's not willing to risk hers. I think it's interesting that we saw that scene between Maddie and the governor where she is steadfast. She is actually willing to risk. If it means sacrificing John Silver, so be it. Maddie is 100% committed to this cause. And from her perspective, I absolutely see why. All of that was so touching and just so true. That she is doing this to change an entire way of life. Not just for her, but for everybody. And I just got a little teary saying that. So I really admire her deep commitment to a cause. And she's, I think, very aware of her role and what being that kind of leader for her people would mean. And it means sacrifice, and not just sacrifice from her, but sacrifice for everyone who signed up for this. So I just love her. We only had that one scene from her this time. But anyone who can look Woodes Rogers, psychopath, in the eyes and refuse to give him what he wants at the risk of losing their own life is just a hero for me. As much as I despise Woodes Rogers now, I just, the guy playing him is just so damn good. And I try not to, I get caught up in the scene. I try not to, step back and be critique, well, the performance there and da-da-da-da. But I just, he's seething. The hatred and the loathing and the blame placing. He literally cannot see that he is exactly what he hates. He thinks he is so different from these pirates. You just broke an agreement. You're doing this attack. How are you so different from these pirates, sir? He's not even blaming the Spaniards. It's those damn pirates that caused Eleanor's death. And then there's Maddie going, it's not even the Spaniard that killed her. That was you. And she's right. But he will never see it. He will just never see it. You are the thing that you hate. And you cannot see it. But in any case, he's just seething within. And you could just, he's just so good at indicating it without, I mean, it's just like barely breaking the surface. You can see his facial muscles twitch and his eyes are watering, and I'm just like, oh my God, he's gonna lose it in any second. And he really hasn't lost it. He's very calm in his rage. Like, even with the Blackbeard sequence, he was still quite just psychopathically calm. Oh, he's really good. But it does remind me a lot of Flint. I always give props to Toby Stephens' facial muscles acting. Like when something really is setting him off and he's like, what? You could just see it start. I would have thought there would be more of those two squaring off. I don't know that Flint and Rogers are like the mirror of each other, but there are a lot of commonalities. But I think that Woodes Rogers it's crazy. He completely lacks the vision that someone like Flint has. And I think out of all the characters, I think that's what makes Flint so outstanding, is just, I mentioned that, things are spiraling outward, like, and every time one of his goals is snatched away from him, he kind of like, well, let's widen the range until now we're talking, freedom, revolution, all of that. When he used to just be concentrated on just his own island, it's been like, nope. You've taken that dream from me, we're thinking bigger. You've taken this goal from me, we're thinking bigger. So he just has this absolute vision. It makes me think, if he had been the one to be in Roger's position, how things would be so different. Because I think he would be different than Woodes Rogers. I really do. What could be? I am on so many tangents. I'm sorry. This is going to be a bitch to edit. I'm going to take it back to the scene between Maddie and Rogers, since that's the only scene we had of her. I loved how that whole scene unfolded with like the clicking knitting needle sounds in the background and the lighting sort of dimming and darkening and then highlighting other things. It was really well done. Maddie is... I'm still worried for what could happen to her, but as I understand it now, she is the character I'm spoiled on. She will survive this, so I'm a lot less worried about her. But I worry for anyone who is under the captivity of that psycho, so things could happen to her. I'll talk about Jack briefly. When he was talking with the old sailor about, you sailed with Henry Avery, I think that Jack is more than this, but he is also kind of a fame whore. A little bit. But I know that he wants, it's not like fame for fame's sake. He wants to be known for something. He wants to leave his mark upon the world. And he clearly admires that in anyone. So I understand the context of that conversation was he needed to make sure that the guy knew how to get where they were going. But I saw that little glint in his eye too. And I didn't mean to laugh at the demise of the old sailor. It's not funny. Yet the response to it was just... Jack's face, Featherstone, they're both so subtly funny about how they absorb this information. It was the best. Billy. I think I'm hating Billy even more than I hated Dufresne. I think just because I feel that sense of betrayal because I loved him so much. And yet he's just downgraded to the world's biggest douchebag. I guess I throw him a little love that he didn't gun down his little buddy from Maroon Island. But I thought that was a great moment at the start when he was being asked, he was being put on the spot and saying like, well, who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be Flint or Silver? With all this, pressure that he put on Silver to choose. Now he's being put on the spot. That was delicious to see. But yeah, he's almost the absolute worst. Woodes Rogers is the absolute worst. Billy runs a close second. I thought all the talk about Silver's past so interesting because I remember in various seasons of this show, I've commented on like, we don't really know his story. I mean, there have been times where I thought I might be getting a glimpse. What's going on? Who is this guy? We don't know who he was from the second that he stepped onto that boat in the first place, when he first stole the page, when he had his, struggle with the cook. The very opening scene. Where'd you come from? Why were you there? Don't know. Still don't know. But I have wondered that aloud, off and on. And I think Flint has a good point in that it's not so much, it is an act of trust. I mean, even if you're not really hiding anything, but it's creating that bond to be open and completely honest with another human being. These are the things that have happened to me. These are the things that have defined me. They've shaped me. They've wounded me. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And it's not just a casual friendship like, well, we'll go down to the pub. But even in dodging the details of his past, he's still an enigma. I would like to know. I would like to know his background and how he came to be with these people. It's curious that way. And in the end, I do think that he and Flint still have a bond. It's been severely damaged. Israel is not necessarily wrong in the things he's saying, but he's so adamantly anti-Flint, and just, I think he is trying to protect who he sees as his leader. And there's only one. There can be only one in the end. And he has chosen Long John Silver. So I think that is why he's doing what he's doing. But he does not... I was going to say he doesn't know Flint like Silver does, which is both a detriment, but it's also the point. I mean, I do think Flint can talk himself into anything and into anyone. I do think he has that capability, and I do think he shares that capability with Silver. I think that they are two peas in a pod, as far as that's concerned. Silver has not let himself be blindsided by Flint in a way that a lot of other people may have been sort of coerced and blindsided by Flint. I think they understand each other in a totally different way, and that is a little bit lost on Israel. That's my take on it, at least at this point. So, but how it all ended, I feel like there's still some hope for that friendship with their ship once again being destroyed. How many times has that ship gone through that process? And I'm guessing most of their crew lost. I'm feeling like Rackham and crew, I feel like their ship may swoop in and maybe join the side of the pirates against the governor before Rackham tries to turn and take out Flint. I don't know. I'm not good at predictions, really, so I'm going to keep it to a minimum. And I can't believe that I have only one more episode of this show. It makes me really, really sad. I've been saying this past season, like, I really want to see how it ends, and now that the end is here, I'm like, no! Make it go longer. I'm both looking forward to the next episode and not looking forward to the next episode. But all good things must come to an end, and I have a feeling next episode's gonna be a doozy. Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you enjoyed the reaction, please feel free to give it a like, a share, and a subscribe. Full reactions are on Patreon, and be sure to join me for the final episode of Black Sails. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.